Greetings,
Recording.
heathens and heretics, and welcome to another review episode of In the Abyss. I'm not in the Abyss on my own today. I've got a semi-regular member of the Abyss crew with me, Uncle
Just call me a
Mike.
semi. You call me a semi.
I did. I made reference to a semi. Sorry, apologies
Good God.
if that
What
made
a
you
bad
feel,
man you are.
if that what a
You see
bad
what I did
man.
there? You see
See
what
what
I
I
did
did
there?
there? I like that. I like that. How you doing? How's things?
Things are okay. Thank you very much. I've been doing things
Good.
amongst other things,
Good.
and now I'm doing this thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing. It's a pretty
Yeah.
special thing. I mean, anyone that kind of, I suppose it's worth just acknowledging the last time he was on here, um, we were also talking about the band we're about to talk about because
Oh, was that the album rating one? Yeah.
we did, it was 9 months ago. Yeah, we did the Corrosion of Conformity.
9
Full.
months ago.
Yeah.
Was it that long ago?
It
I could have
was.
had a baby in that time.
You, have you? Did you?
No,
No. Well,
although I look like I have.
I'll
I
tell you
need to.
who has given birth to something. It's corrosion of bloody conformity, isn't it?
They have sneezed out a banger.
They have. So if the thumbnail hadn't given it away, we're here to talk about the brand new album by Corrosion of Conformity. Give our thoughts. It's called, what's it called? Good God, Bad Man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think it's because good has got two O's. So it's what's the word? It's like the same on both sides.
Like symmetrical.
Yes, that's the word. That's the word.
Yes, symmetrical. Anyway, so all good. So a little bit of I mean, I was thinking about this, like, because Corrosion of Conformity is an important band, I think, for both you and me. Like it goes way back. And today I was just thinking that I think like my appreciation of COC probably goes back as far as our friendship. We're going back to the sort of early 90s here.
Yeah, mate.
So I couldn't
Lot
think of
as a
anyone more appropriate to do this with than yourself.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
We have
good.
nerded out about cock a few times.
Yeah.
I tell you what I should have done. I rushed it. I've only just got in for work because the trains were buggered, but I was going to put on my vintage Corrosion Conformity t-shirt that I got at the first gig we went to.
Nice. Do you remember the venue?
No, I do
I've,
remember. I remember it was back in the days when you could buy a t-shirt outside a gig from that weren't like band merch.
yeah.
Back then, we think about it, right? Um, it's coming back though. I've seen that a few times recently. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
that was a t-shirt I got back then. It still fits, weirdly enough.
That's good, man. That's good
Maybe
news.
it must have lycra in it.
I well, on that note, those t-shirts, they have come back. Like, you walk out a gig now and you see them selling like knockoff merch on the pavement. But the irony is, these days that stuff's just as good as the stuff they're selling in the venue. Like, the quality
Yeah,
bar
yeah.
is decent. So gone are the days we stick it in the washing machine and it's the design
And it's
is
just a black t-shirt the
has,
following
yeah
day. Yeah,
has disappeared.
they
Anyway,
should
look.
band should actually pay people to do that, and then they don't, and then they're like, "Look, I'll give you 10%, which is 30% less than I'd have to give the O2. So if you just sell actual merch outside, I'll give you a cut."
Man, I mean, it happens. Bands now, all sorts of bands are selling it in, like, they're having a merch store in the pub down the road, or
Yeah, yeah. Don't blame them.
like,
Corrosion Conformity won't do that though, will they?
no, no.
I
Well,
don't know.
maybe they will. Who knows?
Maybe I hope
Anyway, but
so.
look, let's
Yeah.
let's let's focus on the
Yes.
brand new album. So this is COC's 11th album, 12 if you include Technocracy, which was a bit of a point of contention when we did the album ranking. Whether we should include that or not. As far as I'm concerned, it's a legitimate release. I think it deserves to be called an album, but
Well, I agree.
an EP for many. We've got, the lineup on this one. We got Pepper Keenan, of course. He's been back for probably the best part of a decade now, I would say. Vocals and guitar. Woody Weatherman on guitar. Woody Weatherman's the only original member of Corrosion, which I think is pretty
Is
cool.
it?
So
That is cool. Yeah.
so I'll drink. There's a toast to Woody. A couple of changes though in the lineup. We got Bobby Landgraf on bass. Now, obviously,
Sounds like
Mike
a made up
Dean.
name.
Well, his nickname is Rock. Um,
Is it?
obviously, I mean, which is what you want to be as a bass player. Um, I mean, he's played in Down, obviously, Pepper's side project, and also he's a member of Honky as well, which are a pretty cool band. Um, but he's
Also sounds like a
replaced.
made up name.
It is a made up name.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
well,
it is.
obviously someone made it up, you know. But yeah, obviously
Honky.
we lost Mike Dean, between the last album and now, a long-standing member of the band. Um, and of course, we've got Stanton Moore on drums for this one. Obviously, the late great Reed Mullin is no longer with us, so some pretty big shoes to fill. But we've heard Stanton Moore before because obviously he plays on the In the Arms of God album, which again we praised the hell out of on the um, ranking episode. Um, Production is
Yeah,
Warren Riker, which is another swap out because up until this point they've used John Custer as a producer. Ever so since Blind, it's been John Custer all the way through. So this is the first album in a long time where they've used a different producer. Warren Riker, he's produced Cathedral, he's produced Down, um, and this is the interesting point: is he's also a big part of the Fugees' career, and he's done some stuff with Destiny's Child as well. So we'll talk about what that brings to the for the record.
is that why the single is it's called "Give Me Some More"? Their first single was "Give Me Some More" from Stanton Moore.
Well observed. I reckon so. Yeah, I think that's just them celebrating the fact that Stanton Moore's come on board and just kicked some royal arse.
He has kicked some ass. Yeah, I was making notes about this. I listened to it the other day, and one of the notes I made was just how raw the drums sound. Like there's one song I don't know which one is. Is it "Run for Your Life"? Maybe I can't remember. It just starts with a closed hi hat,
Right.
and like I just felt like I was right there, right next to him while he
Yeah.
was banging that.
Yeah.
Like it's not overproduced. It's not like going through 400 devices and whatever and blah blah blah. It's just like some guys are smacking a bit of wood on a bit of metal in a room and they've got a microphone next to it. And I was just like, oh my god, man, this is.
Yeah.
It's like often you might miss details like that. Like people who just put music on in the background, right? They
Mm.
get like, but that for me just went, no, no, no. This is an album. This is this requires some focus. And
Yeah.
I've actually found a couple of spots over the last couple of weeks to like just sit and listen to it.
Mm.
Not even like in the car because in the car you have to look at what's going on, otherwise you might crash,
It's
run over a
advised. I
dog or
think
something.
it's in the highway code. I think it's about page
It's
15
probably
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I sat down a few times, so I just listened to it, and there's just a few little bits that pop out that are just like. And so I said to you, like, just after I got it, so it requires some actual listening to it, right, to pull out some of this
It's
stuff. And it's
very
gonna get a
much,
few listens. Every time I listen to it, actually, I found something interesting.
yeah. I think everything you've said there, I completely agree with. It's like it's very much an album in the sense that you'd be well advised to listen to it from beginning to end and really take it all in because
Mm.
it's a double album. And it really goes through an evolution. They kind of come out the gate with some pretty gnarly, heavy, sort of punky, exciting stuff. But it goes on a journey. This takes you through so many different moods and flavors as it plays out. Um, that it is
Even
one
so,
of the
so they describe it as like as a double album. Like the first half, if you like, it's like the much earlier stuff.
Hmm,
Like it's a bit more ferocious. It's a bit more jagged. There's some like tight riffs in there, and then from maybe Bad Man or Lose Yourself, it kind of like turns into this like something. The moment Bad Man comes on, I'm like,
yeah,
mate, this is. I
yeah.
feel like I'm in New Orleans. I mean, I don't know what
Oh
that's like,
man,
but
it's
like it just feels it's like groovy. And then as I beat, I was like, mate, if the rest of the album's gonna be like this, it's gonna be cool. And then it wasn't. Like it then switches again and
mhm,
takes you on a whole extra journey. And like even there's a Bedouin's Hand, that song, right?
right. Yeah,
The moment when I first time I listened to that, I was like, I need to make a playlist with this and Planet Caravan on it, and anything else I
right.
can find that's like that.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah,
not it's not particularly like Planet Caravan, but it gives me the same kind
yeah.
of vibe. It's very chilled, but there's a lot going on in there.
Yeah, and they've kind of done that a lot. There's a few moments across the album where they bring in these kind of, the interludes that we heard on Deliverance, those kind of little moments of reflection that just sort of sit there in the moment and just give you a bit of a breather before they just cascade in with something you know, and then who knows where it's going to go. It could be something heavy, it could be something funky. Um, I think this is I, you know, I think I said it to you on the text as well. I think it's the first time when I can say that COC have genuinely incorporated all of the influences. You know, this is a band that have had, you know, you can put a pin in the map in any moment in their career and have a completely different experience, right? You know, we've
Mm.
you got the punk, you've got the Sabbathy riffs, you've got the sort of countrified, gentler side to what they do. On this album, it's all there. It's all there. And I would say for the first time, you know, there's a lot of people that might say, they've always done like a punk tune in amongst the, you know, the kind of Sabbathy stuff. And they have, but this has got more than that. This has got, you know, the funk
Yeah,
is
yeah, for sure.
that New Orleans sound that you talked about is there, you know, and it just sounds like they're having fun. You know,
Yeah.
that was my first impression was because I don't know how you felt. Like, did you going back, right? Did you have any? What were your thoughts before you listened to it? Like, did you have any? Because I had a bit of trepidation, like
Yeah, me too.
hitting
Yeah, I
play.
did actually because because like you mentioned at the beginning, we had that 9 months ago. That's mad. We had that thing 9 months ago, and I'd gone through a whole like month or two before that. I've listened to a lot of Corrosion of Conformity, and it goes way back to when we were teenagers. So like, there's a lot riding on Corrosion of Conformity for
Right.
me. Like
Yeah.
it's a you know it's a core memory, like a core memory.
Yeah.
And so yeah, whenever I push play on a new anything new from Corrosion, there's always that. Please don't let me down. I mean, I
Yeah.
know they're not. I know they're
Well,
not.
this is the thing. Well, the reason I say that is because, you know, No Cross, No Crown, the last album, like didn't particularly fly for me. I like it. And, you know, we talked about it on the ranking. It was pretty low down, you know, in our ranking, you know, and there was a lot to celebrate about that album because Pepper was back, you know, and it was kind of like, you know, the gang's all here again. And it, you know, it's not a bad album by any stretch, but it didn't really fly. When I put this one on, like we kind of get that brief not an interlude, but it's like an introduction, I should say. You know, it kind of sounds like an old Western, and you're sort of like, all right, where's this going? And then it just crashes in. And I was just taken aback at how lively it sounds. It's just crackles like it, and
Yeah,
to your point that you made earlier, it sounds like you're standing in a room. You know, it sounds like you've walked into their band practice, right? That's how alive this sounds straight from the off. So, you know, I kind of there's a big sigh of relief and a exhale of like, oh, okay, all right, this sounds
yeah.
like we're back.
The only thing on that though, now you're talking about it, and I think about that a bit more, is that because the Give Me Some More was the first track that they released as a single.
Yeah,
Interestingly, they made some 7 inches of that as well, which
yeah,
are probably like rocking horse shit. There's no way you're getting out of that. But uh, when I first heard that, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I like that.
right,
But if that's the whole album, I'm not sure.
right.
But happily, it wasn't. It is a it is a multifaceted beast.
Oh,
Like you're talking about that Western intro as well. There's a few little bits like that. The bit that makes me chuckle is the which I can't remember. Maybe it's Handcuff County, where it starts off with that a policeman on the radio talking to
oh
dispatch.
yeah,
He's,
yeah.
he's going, there's some boys urinating against the church. One of them's got their ass out. Every time I
Man,
hear that, makes me
and
chuckle.
that track is pure ZZ Top worship. I mean,
Yeah,
when Handcuff County, when that one kicks in, and you know, to compare "Gimme Some More" to Handcuff County, like that's where you're really seeing the
yeah.
diversity of this record. You got this kind of hardcore punk track, um, and then they come in with some ZZ Top like further down the album. Um, there's a great quote that kind of came out on the with all the promo blurb with this record, where
Yeah.
Pepper talks about going to like Woody's house and they just sat and played records and just kind of reconnected with, you know, as they
Was it
put
a
it,
COVID thing?
the good
Was it,
stuff.
was it,
No, no, I think it was kind of just in the fallout of, I guess, Mike Dean had left the band, and you know, I don't know. I guess it's just a moment of reconnection. You know, what are we going to do? And they talk about just getting together to write. And part of that process was just listening to music. And, you know, they were putting on Black Flag, they were putting on Black Sabbath, they were putting on ZZ Top, you know,
Neil
and
Young.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all in this album, like that breadth of influences. And I just, so much about this album to me sounds like a celebration of all of those influences. There's just excitement and just connection with all those sounds, and they've poured it into this music. You know, I was quite taken aback actually what an achievement this album is.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed about it, um, going back to the point about it being quite a diverse set of songs, is Pepper's vocals are different on a
Right.
couple of the songs. I noticed. Maybe I'm talking all shit and it's actually somebody else singing, but it doesn't feel like it.
I,
But he doesn't. It's not the same kind of like. There's a couple of songs where he's shouting. Is
right.
the timbre's voice is different as well, and
Yeah.
that actually like surprisingly that stuck out as like, oh, that's cool. I like that. That's
Mm.
cool. That's a different thing because you know he's got a very unique
Yeah.
a very unique way of singing, and you know things like Clean My Wounds and Albatross and all that stuff. Like that's Pepper, right?
Right.
That's how you hear it. And there's a plenty of that in this album. There's also a few where he's different,
Mm.
and it gives a different vibe to the track as well in a few places. And then of course there's the last track, well, Forever Amplified has got that woman on it. What's her
Oh
name?
man. So it's I forget her name now. Ja
And Angelica Jelly
Angelica.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
she needs to be on the album more. Actually, that is my only complaint.
do you know
Right,
what? That's
save her
yeah.
for the last 30 seconds of the album, man. No
This
way.
is
That was
this
great.
that is quite something, you know. It's like for this album to go through all of these different flavors and styles and just end on that huge kind of crescendo of a track, which to my so you know my understanding is that song's a eulogy to those we've lost, you know, including Reed Mullin, you know, and just those that have fallen by the wayside. And to my ears, it kind of it starts out on this like it's Iommi worship, like it's a pure Sabbath riff, okay. But by the end of that track, like we know what it would sound like if Aretha Franklin sang for Black Sabbath, because
Yeah,
because that's what that track is, man. It's
yeah,
incredible, you know,
yeah.
and
It's definitely yeah, definitely more of that. I think
yeah. Well, I
take
think
take take notice, Pepper and Woody. Like next time,
well, do
more
you know
guest
what?
vocalists.
Just going back to a point you made about the timbre of Pepper's
What?
voice, the timbre,
Timbre.
um,
I love it.
just the different sound, you know, different places he goes with his voice.
Yeah.
That's happening across the album with everybody. You know, I think Stanton Moore, we
Oh,
have to
yeah.
talk about a fantastic drummer. We've sung his praises so much on this podcast. But similar to what you're talking about with Pepper, he's using different sounds, different approaches. You know, he's such a well-versed musician that he can, you know, he can choose the most appropriate approach to each part that he plays, you know. So when it's softer, he really kind of understands the instrument that he's playing, and he'll just make the most of it. And I think that plays out across this album, like guitar tones, drum sounds, vocal sounds, everything they um everything they kind of layer into this, and it is a massively layered album, just sounds great. And it just they completely pull it off. It's like
Mm.
I don't know what production decisions are made or whatever, but they just all seem to be the right decision. Everything is just perfectly kind of there.
Yeah, and I've listened to it, I don't know, 15, 20 times now. Maybe that many. Yeah, probably that much. Not
Mm.
all of them like in a deep sit down and do nothing else mode, but and I'm still not bored of it. Like it's still I think that like we had a brief conversation about this a while back. We were talking about this is a new Creator album. Sounds like
Mm.
the last Creator album and the one before that.
Yeah.
Um, and as a little side point, I'm hoping that the next Judas Priest album doesn't sound like the last two Judas Priest albums.
Yeah.
Um, but this is not that, right? Because it's a diverse set of songs. And I'm sure I've said that before in the past. They're interesting albums, right?
Yeah.
Where every song is doesn't have to be completely different, but different enough that it keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
It's like if you read a book and every chapter was the same setting with the same people in it, like it would be dull, right?
Right.
I mean, not all books like that, I'm sure are
No,
dull,
but I
but like
understand the point.
but it's like there's nothing really going on. You'd need to have an incredible plot, or like the characters would need to have huge depth. But it's the same for an album like this. If all the songs are kind of sounding the same tone,
Mm.
same drum sound, same vocal style, same structure across the songs, then it might be great,
Mm.
but you're going to get bored quick, right? It's not something you're going to go back to. Whereas this one is definitely something that I'm going to go back to time and time again. And
I agree, man. It's like I said at the start, it's a journey, just and it the way they describe it themselves absolutely plays out. I think, the first part of the album is the more aggressive. There's a lot of punk energy there, or just kind of weight. The song The Handler has got like this kind of Matt Pike-esque, heavy riff in there. It's like reminiscent of Deliverance. By the time we get to Bad Man, the album really opens up, and it just kind of, that's where they're having fun. It's like it's a throwdown. We've got the ZZ Top of Handcuff County. Swallowing the Anchor, I think, is a track where that's where you just get that kind of New Orleans funk. There's a lot of Dr. John energy going on in that track. you know uh, it,
yeah, yeah, Dr. John, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, it is Asleep on the Killing Floor. To me, that drives along, like, it reminds me of Jesus Christ Pose by Soundgarden. It's got that energy to it, um versus a track like, I don't know, Run for Your Life, which is just kind of, it's got this very assured pace to it. It kind of just sits there it's heavy, but it's not ramming the point home. It just kind of has weight to it. I can go on and on. There's, I'm gonna make a really kind of bold statement here, but I genuinely think, right, this album is Corrosion of Conformity's physical graffiti, right? That's my Led Zeppelin comparison there.
Ooh.
I think this is an album. Now, what's key about physical graffiti is it doesn't have the biggest song, like the biggest hit singles on it. And I think, if I'm being fair, that's one thing we don't get from this album, is like, we don't get a
Mm,
vote with a bullet. We don't get an albatross. We don't get a clean my wounds, right? There isn't a kind of one song that's like, that's the fucking anthem. But the production and the performance and the quality of the arrangements just completely carries that. It elevates it above that. So it's good enough. And I think that's something that Physical Graffiti has in common with this album. I think it's a phenomenal piece of work across a double album. Um, I think it's a monumental achievement. I really think
yeah,
COC have pulled this one out of the bag. And for a band that's like this far into their career to still be this good, this creative, I think
yeah.
is astonishing.
With with two new members as well, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, is it is it a changing lineup that it's like triggers Broom, right? I mean, they've still got two of the original members in there, I guess, but or
yeah.
Woody is the original member. But it's like, is that like, does that, if you change the band every couple of albums, or you change one member of the band, that brings in something new, right? They've gone off and done something else,
Completely.
and then they come
Yeah.
back, and I think that's probably key to this kind of thing, right?
I agree.
But to your point about to your point about singles, like, does is that a problem?
Not at
Like,
all.
will this you in another 9 years when we're ranking Corrosion Conformity albums,
Right.
where would this sit? It's got no kind of standout bangers, right? As in, there's no clean movies, right? So like, does it pop into your head when you think of Corrosion Conformity? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go listen to Run for Your Life.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously time will tell.
Yeah,
As it stands now, I think it's among their best work, but I just think it's for different reasons. Like, well, I was kind of
yeah.
quick to say no, that doesn't matter just now, and what I mean is, it doesn't matter to me how that plays
No,
out
no,
in
yeah,
the kind of
exactly, yeah.
wider fandom. Um, I don't know, is this an album that's going to convince people that aren't into COC to check them out? I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Does that matter? Like, have they got a
Does
broad enough fan base that, do you know what I mean, that
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
the other albums are going to pull people in, and then they're going to find this one, and it just like there's it's always it's always is it a worry? It's always a worry for me. It's like the music industry, streaming, and I'm sure you've spoken about it before, but it's like it's all optimized for like the first 30 seconds of the song, and it's all
Yep.
optimized for like singles and that kind of stuff. And it's no like the idea of an album just seems to, not be as strong as it used to be,
Mm.
right? It certainly is in certain genres like metal, rock, maybe not even rock, but metal, certainly, jazz. They all have the concept of albums, but more broadly, there isn't that. Like it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a playlist of singles or whatever. I don't think I've ever made a playlist of singles in my life, and so I think that like this album definitely flies the flag for that. No, no, no. You got to listen to an album.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
this is I've curated this set of songs in this order,
Yep.
right, for you to listen to. Like I wouldn't even like now I've said that out loud. I wouldn't even put this on shuffle, mate, because it has to work in this order, right?
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah,
It is a throwback to that time, and you're right. Yeah, we talk about it a lot, just kind of on the channel, and you know, it's a golden era for us, the era of the album. But you're right. I think this absolutely speaks to that point in time. I said it at the top of the episode as well. This has been curated and put together to be listened to in this order, and
mm.
just to kind of be enjoyed as a complete piece of work, really. You know,
Do you
well,
reckon there's other songs? Do you reckon there's other songs? Like they didn't just sit down and write 14 songs and then record them and put them on an album, right? They wrote 20, 25 songs and then picked the best 14, right? There's got to be that like there's got to be other songs that they sat down and wrote, or riffs, or partial bits of songs that fit within this album, right?
I hope
I'd
so.
love to hear those. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
well, I think there's no sign of them slowing down. This is kind of
Yeah,
to me,
true.
this sounds like a band that are re-energized. My overriding feeling about all of this is just how much fun they seem to be having. Like the energy and the enthusiasm and that sense of just kind of hanging out and throwing it down is just in every ounce of this record. That to me is its major strength.
Yeah, I get that about Pepper whenever I think about him or see him, just like this laid back dude. I wonder if that's because they live in Mississippi, and
I'm sure
that's
that's I'm sure
yeah.
that's
But there was a video of him the other day. He was in a barn, this giant, like you only see like a sliver of it because it was a vertical video.
yeah.
Um, and it's just like a barn, like a woodworking barn. But he's got all these guitars laid out, and he was talking about how he's prepping his guitars for the
Oh yeah,
tour.
yeah. I
And I was
saw
just
that.
like, and he was just like, yeah, this is the thing that I do. Well, of course you do. Of
That's
course
it.
you do. Maybe you can
Yeah,
sort your own guitars out. You need a guitar tech. Just do it, mate.
yeah.
And
Hands on,
yeah.
man. Hands on.
Have you got a ticket for the show?
Yes, yeah. So I can't even remember the date as I sit here now, but
Let
I've
me
got
look it
a
up.
ticket for the Dome show
Let
um,
me look it up for the fans.
in I you know I it's
10th of June.
10th of
10th
June.
of
Okay,
June.
so they're touring the UK certainly in June. I'm sure that is taking them around the world. I know they've just announced some dates in Spain as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, to summarize, I think this is an incredible piece of work from Corrosion of Conformity, and I'm happy as a fan that this is the record they delivered, and I just think, yay, there you go.
What I actually want is that cardigan. Look at this. Look at this picture, man. Look at
Man,
that. Look at them. Those are the four people that made this music.
yeah,
They could look a bit happier,
yeah,
couldn't they?
yeah. There you go. And I suppose on that point, shout out to Warren Riker because you mentioned the change up, the shake up, and is that the thing that's kind of lit this fire under them? And I
Yeah.
think I listen, I love and appreciate everything they achieved with John Custer, but there were times I think I wish I wonder what it would sound like if they stepped out and did something with someone else, and they have, and I think the results speak for themselves, you know. So
Yeah, but
um
again, so it's just like I was saying, right? It's like you got to mix it up again. You got to get a new producer.
yeah,
You got to do other stuff. It makes me wonder how bands like Metallica, for example, right? How they do it. Same members for years and years and years.
right,
Same sound, but they still make,
yeah.
you know, they still make,
Do you know what?
fairly
It's
reasonable
chemistry,
albums.
isn't it? It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
chemistry, and I think it has to come from a very sincere place of like it's what you want to do. And yeah, again, and I know I'm banging on about it now, but I think this album sounds like it's made by, a group of musicians that wanted the world to hear these songs, that wanted, you know, it it, it's
I
fun.
wouldn't be able to handle the excitement of making an album like this, like going in the studio or like going to rehearsal rooms and like playing these songs and going, "Oh my God, this sounds so good! I'm so excited about this."
Yeah,
Like, I mean, you'd be constantly
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
I tell you what, we haven't talked about is Barry Gibb.
We haven't talked about Barry Gibb's guitar. No, we haven't. In fact, actually, there's a few little kind of little factoids that are worth chucking in there. So, obviously the majority of the album I think was recorded in Louisiana, um, but they did
Let me look.
spend some time in Miami, in Barry Gibb's, obviously Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees, in his studio. I think that's where a lot of the guitar tracks were recorded, and I think it's the track "Bad Man" that uses Barry Gibb's guitar.
Good God. Yes, it is. Plays his
Yeah,
Strat.
yeah. So there you go.
Pepper
So there's
says the whole experience was game changer, big time.
a little bit of disco
Yeah,
magic on there. Speaking of disco magic, they're also on the track "Give Me Some More." There's a guest guitar player. There's two guests on that song actually. One is Al Jorgensen from Ministry, so he's kind of um, like
he does vocals.
blasting out
Yeah,
the vocals. Yeah, which has got that great lyric about the struggle's worth the fight, leather chains and spikes. Man, it's like who can't relate to that? That's a metal's anthem right there. But
yeah.
interestingly, on that track, we've also got a guy called Monty Pittman who plays guitar for Madonna of all people. So, you know, there's definitely a little bit of disco magic going
I
on.
wonder how that came about, right? I wonder how the band members of Corrosion of Conformity know Madonna's guitarist.
I reckon it's Warren Riker. Don't forget, this is the man that produced the Fugees. So I reckon his little black book probably extends as far as Madonna
Yeah,
and her. I don't know. That's just me speculating, but who knows?
yeah. No, I mean, that's probably it.
Yeah.
How do you bring that into conversation though? Listen, lads, this this Good God Bad Man's all right, but I think what we probably need is a bit of pop guitar in there.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's not pop guitar.
I was going to say it's not a pop guitar. For all I know, Monty
No,
Pittman's probably a massive Crowbar fan. I don't know. He just happens to earn his crust with the Queen of Pop. I don't know. You know, I'm
the
gonna
Queen of Pop.
I'm gonna Google it after this episode. But listen, we've I think we've kind of we've given the right impression. I think this is a quality album. Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
buy it.
yeah, I'm really pleased. It's released on the 3rd of April through Nuclear Blast. Um, get it in
Where's
your
that?
earbuds.
That's next Friday, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Bank
yeah,
holiday Friday. So you won't be at work. Well, maybe you'll be at work. Some of you won't be at work. So buy it immediately. Don't stream it. Go and buy a physical copy of it, a CD. I don't know if it's on cassette or a
Well, I'm
record.
sure it is. I'm sure it is. But
Probably.
it's one of these
Yeah.
albums that begs to be kind of put on in the truck and just driven around. Um, yeah, absolutely fantastic piece of
That
work.
does imply that people have to go buy a truck first. So
Well, look, put it
borrow
put it
one.
put it put it on the Christmas list. Right. Okay. All good then. All good. So,
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a real
uh,
pleasure. I always love talking about music.
come on again. Let's do it some more. Let's.
Yeah, I can't for the next 9 months. I'm having a baby. I'm not having a baby.
Okay. Well, look, we can arrange something. I don't know. I'm sure. All
You can
good.
arrange for me to have a baby.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I feel out of depth in this conversation. I'm not sure where it's going. But corrosion of conformity. Good God, Baad Man. 3rd of April, Nuclear Blast Records. We think is a winner. Thanks for listening. And in the meantime, stay heavy.
Stay heavy.